And now, it's time for remote viewing with Margie Kay.
Okay, here we go. Well, all kinds of technical problems today. I'm Margie Kay, and this is the Margie Kay Show on the new Woo channel. So just to keep that in mind, we are just launching tonight, actually. Got several shows up already. Tonight is going to be a good one. And we are here on Fridays at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And here is our graphic for the new Woo channel. We talk about alternative healing, metaphysical subjects, consciousness, all the woo stuff. It's kind of we're kind of making a joke about ourselves being woo. But anyway, got a bunch of new shows coming up too for that. And tonight we're going to be talking with Michelle Marie Angel, my good friend and colleague. She is a visionary, intuitive author and teacher. Early on, she was guided to be closely connected to the spiritual realm by her grandmother, who brought her into the world of prayer, meditation, and galactic information. She studied consciousness and psychology, as well as receiving her degrees in education and a master's in computer education. But her path took her beyond the classroom. She developed spiritual education seminars that include multimedia presentations. Some of her workshops are now available at the Oz Institute, and the links for that are on the UNX Network website at unxnetwork.com. She is the author of Live, Love, It is a New World After All, and Forever Free. These books help to propel people into higher consciousness. Her work continues to produce new offerings according to her educational architecture described in her Alchemy of Light project. Her primary website is smile and then the number 4 love.com. And she has YouTube and Rumble channels called Smile Soul Power and Smile Spiritual Miracles Intentional Living Education. Welcome to the program, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Goodness, you are a busy lady. You do more than I even knew about. But we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Absolutely. We just tune in and just glide along our own frequency and go with the flow.
Yeah, that's about what we have to do. We're going to kind of talk about that tonight, about the changes people are going through and their spiritual awakening, the raising consciousness, and how that's affecting us. So why don't we just get right into that? What are your thoughts on the subject?
Well, we're living multidimensional lives, and that's becoming more and more apparent. And so the inner work and inner processes that we go through are ever more powerful as we discover our consciousness tools and powers and technologies. And also, the more we exercise them, the stronger we get. And so, interestingly, the last workshop that I was developing, Dream Writing in the Spirit of Gratitude, we're getting these waves from the solar flares and the collective consciousness, rising consciousness. And so everything's working together and becoming more powerful. And so I was doing a writing activity when I was preparing to deliver the Dream Writing and the Spirit of Gratitude. And it's shifted. The writing activity shifted something inside of me that changed my outer reality. And it was almost like I got caught up in a 3-week energy vortex. And I was clearing and using freedom of soul activity, that my first writing activity. And I'm telling you what, my life it's like I just had to go along with whatever was happening. But what did happen is that I started out with car problems, and I had intended to manifest a van. And what happened was it started from car problems, to looking at vans, to manifesting a van, to moving through all the problems like my air conditioning breaking on my car before I sold it, to getting that fixed miraculously at about $1,200 less than what I was originally told. And then my car, which was being undervalued because of the problems, I ended up selling it for full price. So everything was miraculous in that 3-week vortex. And I just landed on my feet with a new van. And I swear it was from that writing activity and shifting my energy and the what I did with in terms of inner work. And it was essentially about feeling free, like a free spirit, and letting go of everything else. So we're kind of in that anyway. We're all releasing old energies. And things are coming up for healing, like emotional blockages from the past.
So we really do have more control over our personal lives than we think most of the time, right?
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
And then
Because
doing a process like that can bring forth physical things like the car
absolutely.
being fixed or something being a lot less expensive than it should have been.
Yes, yes. Our intentions are powerful. And I've been working with this for years, but I feel like the context of the new collective consciousness, which has and is rising rapidly, gave me more like buoyancy and strength and propulsion for my intention, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I do. And I think things are feel like they're being accelerated at the moment because more and more people are coming to me when I do private readings for them. And some of the same people have been coming every once in a while for years. And their growth process now, some of them are having a hard time dealing with that. So, what do you suggest to people? What kinds of symptoms would they be having at this moment in time, and how can they
Well,
deal with it?
inner symptoms would be things like a lot of people that are going through these and integrating the new energies are having lucid dreaming. We're having periods of time where we really need extra rest and extra sleep for integration, and also time for centering and grounding. I will often go to the park and walk barefoot on the ground. And I feel like when energy gets intense, or if I feel, stressful or out of sync with, peace, grounding and just walking barefoot on the ground is like a very simple, but yet really powerful. Actually, it's very powerful. And also regulating the frequencies of the environment. I listen to soft music a lot, and some of it was what I had been recommended, when I took the remote viewing class from you, actually. The Jana Leah, I think her name was.
Jana Leah Hoffman, yes.
Absolutely, yes. I have a constant CD going in my car, and in fact, I made sure to get a CD player. When I when I got a new
Okay, now
car.
Michelle, those are for meditation, not for when you're driving.
Oh, believe me, in the traffic I'm in the city I'm in right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I can't meditate while I'm driving, but I can stay calm and present, because you can get into these intense energies that give you anxiety. It just really evens out the peaceful flow and lets you maintain a sense of peace no matter what. So, but I don't close my eyes while I'm driving, I can assure you that. But I do close my eyes when I'm meditating in the morning, and I have another one that's in my house that I use. So peaceful music, staying centered and grounded, and being in the flow and kind of being more of a neutral observer and just saying, well, I'm not going to get a charge from this, basically. And when you get used to meditating and being centered, you get less of a charge. And the sine waves of up and down are not as high or low. They're more of at an equilibrium when you learn to go with the flow. So, and that's a choice. Everything can
Oh,
be done
yeah.
through intention.
Yeah. And I think, like we were saying earlier, people don't realize how much control they really do have, and th- and just having that intention, writing it down is a place to start. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I start my morning uh, communing, meditating, writing, going into the center of my being. But writing is actually my favorite tool my whole life. Writing is cathartic, and it also brings the heavenly realms or the realms of idea into form. Because you're actually taking ideas and thoughts, putting it in writing, and then when you put pen to paper or pencil to paper, it's right there in the 3D world. And so
Mhm.
that's a good process.
Indeed. And I've found for me lately that I've needed more sleep. I went to bed last night at 11, which is early for me because I'm a night owl. And I woke up, my phone alarm did not go off, and I woke up at 10:15. I mean, and I was dead to the world. Is that something that's,
Well,
typical of what people are experiencing?
yes, that exact thing happened to me today. I usually wake up around 7 or 8, and I slept till like 9:45. And so these energies come
Mm,
in, and also I think when we're intentional, like even I think the affirmations and intentions that I set in the morning will affect me at night when I sleep or when I finally relax, because I can't,
no.
sleep while I'm working and I go to work. So, when I do settle down and relax and go to sleep, it could be a longer time of sleeping and,
Mhm.
just very deep, integrative kind of sleep.
And something that people are telling me lately is that they're doing lucid dreaming, and where they never did it before.
I
So is
used to
that,
say I used to say I don't dream. Now I do lucid dreaming and remember dreams all the time. My favorite one recently was when I saw a mothership uh, um, in the sky of a city. It was a bigger city because it had kind of like the background what you have right now with tall buildings,
Mhm.
and so that was fascinating to me because I know I have the, you know, connection with my star family, but that was more of a visual experience. That and our dreams are real in consciousness.
Oh, definitely. And they can tell you a lot, as well. But this connection with spirit, connection with your ET family, your star family, to me, from what I've seen for myself, but also other people, they say that it's easiest to contact their star family and their guides when they are asleep. And why do you think that is?
Well, I think that we're less tethered to the 3D realm, and we're more actually free to travel and move and astral travel, spiritual travel, and travel as light. We drop the density, and so we're just like super free, which we can do during meditation and communion, and we can integrate both of those things, which I think lucid dreaming really is. It's like bringing the awareness of the reality in that lucid dream. It feels really real and like you're really there. And and to me, I've perceived lately that some of that I attribute it to living parallel timelines, parallel realities.
Uh-huh. Well, my next question is about time because I have been experiencing some very strange things with time, and other people are telling me the same thing. Just real quickly, the other day, I got up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I stood up, turned around, the clock said 9 o'clock. So I went downstairs, I got ready to leave. Maybe 20, 30 minutes later, I'm walking out the door. It was 10:57. I do not know. I do not remember anything about what happened during those times. But then all day I had these things happen where would be typing something and my sentence would suddenly be completed, but I didn't type it. I don't remember
Wow.
typing it. So is that something that people are experiencing right now? Are more people having time anomalies?
Yes, yes. And for personal experience, again, I have also where time will advance and you look at the clock and then you think 15 minutes has gone by and it's been another hour and 15 minutes or something. And so the day's going by so fast sometimes I have to regulate my to-do list, so to speak, and make it, make a to-do list instead of for one day, like in the next day or two or three, I'll get this done.
Oh, goodness. And then in reverse of that, people are experiencing having doing something for they think it's 20 or 30 minutes and they look at the clock, it's only 1 minute of time has passed.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's sort of because of our multi-dimensional consciousness, and I guess you would call them time glitches, but they're really not glitches. They're more of a soul travel and soul awareness thing.
Yeah, and I wonder if we weren't jumping timelines back and forth as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking
Mhm.
about. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, as crazy times we're living in at the moment.
It really is, but it's also fascinating and exciting because I get a lot of synchronicities. I think that we all do. We see the double and triple numbers a lot. Um, we will get signs and synchronicities, and like you'll hear the same word three times or more,
Mhm.
and it keeps coming up. Look, one of my words that keeps coming up is threshold. And I've seen like going through a threshold is like going through a portal, and you know uh, alluding to rapid changes and going into like an all new reality, a new dimensional reality in a way. And also like seeing the future of going through this portal and threshold, like it's coming and you're not there yet, but your soul already knows, and the soul is sort of prophetic in terms of already knowing certain things, but they really haven't happened yet in the 3D physical world. I'm not sure if you know if I mean by that, but I think that we're
Mhm.
all
I
sort of
do.
having those, you know, um, there's more fluidity to consciousness, as well as expansiveness.
There are also people are telling me, and I'm having the experience myself, of connecting with interdimensional beings, like, in my case, fairies as of late, since January,
Mhm.
in my yard and my neighbors' yards, and they're there every night now. And it's getting a little bit crazy. Um, I never had, well, I had had some experiences with fairies in my life in the past, a very few. But since January, it's been almost on a nightly basis. Can you explain to me why that would be?
Well, I think that the veils are disappearing between different realms and dimensions.
Uh-huh.
And in my case, it's the feeling of their presence, whether it's fairies, guides, angels, masters. You're open to it, basically. And so it's like whatever you're opening to, um, those things will come through. And it's also intention. Like I know we are all interdimensional. And when you're really open to communicating with like fairies or galactics or ascended masters or, you know, um, the goddesses or archangels and angels, then, they communicate. And I think that I acknowledge their presence a lot, and I'll speak out loud. and I'll say, hello, angels, or stuff like that. And I think that solidifies or reinforces the communication back and forth. It's like, okay, yes, I hear you. Yes, you hear me. It's like, okay, we've got this. This is a solid, line of communication we've got going.
That makes sense. It's the old, if you notice them, they notice you type of thing. Yeah. And also some people are having negative experiences. There are a few that, are my clients. And I tend to think that whatever that person is focused on is what they're going to attract. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, including fears. And that's one thing that we're transmuting and erasing from our consciousness, all sense of fear, because the more we become empowered, the less we have victim consciousness or fear. And I have become empowered, and like people would say, well, cell phone towers are bad for you. And I might pass a cell phone tower and say, I am the more powerful. I am the one in training. I am powerful light. And my intention is that your new job is to raise frequency and be the light, of a higher frequency for humanity. And I would like assign them as if they're my child and say, you're not going to be of a lower frequency or do negative, nefarious things. I'm here now. I'm the light, and I'm going to be the entrainer. I'm not going to be entrained. I'm not going to be in fear. I'm not going to lower my vibration. You're going to raise your vibration, all done with love and unity purposes, which is the higher vibrational frequency.
That is excellent advice, because so many people are being affected by these 5G towers. And I understand 6G is coming, which is going to be even more powerful. And besides making the orgone generators and putting them around your house or throwing them next to the towers, that's one thing to do. And I make them too.
Oh, cool.
I learned how to make them in resin. But that is very powerful. That's a good thought, Michelle. I am going to have to spread that idea.
Yeah, we need to recognize our power and use our power, and then our power becomes stronger. So we have consciousness tools, and intention is a huge, huge thing. You can put your mental intention into everything, and you can see your own light shining from within. We all have that divine spark that can become a flame, that can become powerful. And the more we recognize our own power and use it and have faith in it, the stronger it gets. And so we can absolutely eliminate fear. I mean, one of the poems I wrote in my book, Forever Free, is called Laugh at Fear. And that's to become more powerful than fear itself.
That's really good advice. I think a lot of people have certain fears about things, but they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know that they're more powerful than the fear is.
And that's our ascension process, that we're understanding our powers, our true self, our light, and then how to do it. Not just that we're powerful, but how do you exercise your power? Setting clear intentions is one really good way. And being in alignment with truth, being honest with yourself within and honest with others, just being authentic, just being yourself without any, trying to be someone you're not or impress people. Just being your authentic self and expressing true feelings really makes you powerful.
That is really good advice. That's good to remember. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be back after just a couple of minutes. And we're talking with Michelle Marie Angel this evening, so don't go away. We've got a lot more coming up.
Join us in Cincinnati, August the 27th through the 30th for one of the premier UFO conferences in the United States. The MUFON Symposium 2026. UFO Revelations, Impact on Society and Science. This year's event features keynote speakers Alex Dietrich and the intrepid Peter Robbins, along with 8 additional investigators, researchers, and authors presenting the latest developments in UFO research and disclosure. Master of Ceremonies Stacy Wright will guide attendees through 4 unforgettable days of presentations, discussions, vendors, and special events. Register today at MUFONsymposium.com. That's MUFONsymposium.com.
Patriox Oxygen Water addresses a condition called hypoxia, which is insufficient oxygen in the cells and tissues. The fact is that hypoxia triggers 90% of all chronic conditions, including circulation issues, low oxygen levels in the blood, and more. By drinking Patriox Oxygen Water, you can restore oxygen levels in the body, restore energy, reduce age spots, and renew stem cells. Now, as an UNX listener, you can get 10% off of Patriox Ultra High Oxygen Content Water at patriox.us/discount/UNX News, or check the shop page at UNX Network for more information. And we're back. Margie Kay, your host with the Margie Kay Show on the New Woo channel, and my guest, Michelle Marie Angel. Michelle, we've got a few of your workshops that are on the UNX Network channel and the Oz Institute channel. I'm going to pop a couple of up here. If you would just give us a real quick description of these.
Okay. In the ascension process, identity is a huge thing, because as we ascend, we realize our true self, and our true self is at the very core of our being through our heart, and it's the beginning of developing heart intelligence and consciousness tools. So awakening to your true self identity really helps that process. It's a very good starting point. And it's like got step-by-step and practical steps you can take with inner work, inner questioning, just pointing you all to your power within.
All right. And we have the Life Purpose Workshop.
Yes. And this also goes into your life purpose. Everybody has a sort of purpose. It starts from just being the light that you are and developing your own soul evolution through your own soul's blueprint. And then so you just learn to be the light, and then everybody has specific genius factors within. And so within those genius factors, you learn what your specific qualities and talents and gifts are, and then you learn to give those gifts to the world. And so this is actually like a self-discovery program. And it really helps you identify your soul's mission or your life purpose. And a lot of people are seeking that right now.
They are. It's a very popular workshop. And then we have this one, Understanding Evolution and Angels.
Yes. Well, we have, we started out being quite programmed, and we don't really understand all of our spiritual powers. And we have like cycles, like a procession of the equinoxes that affect each and every one of us. And we have inner cycles, and we have different lifetimes and incarnations where we evolve over time. And there are different groups of people and sects who understand that we are evolving from a certain level of human to a higher level of human, really becoming almost angelic. So when we study some of the gifts and abilities of angels, and I'm talking about the physics of consciousness, so the physics of our consciousness elevating to that of the hierarchy of angels and archangels and light beings and so forth. That's what we're ascending to. It's a higher intelligence and interdimensional.
Those symptoms we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
that's what that's about. And people are really going through a lot right now. And
Yes.
then we have this one, Wake Up Inner Work Guidebook for Holistic Living.
Yes, this is a great guidebook to take you step by step through the process of waking up. It also offers a strategy for holistic living where you assess each part of your life and each part of your self that is progressing. And sometimes we get into repair stages, other times we're in maintenance stages, other times we're in development stages, and we want to really really want to develop in a balanced manner so that we have equilibrium. And so even if don't want to focus on any one part of our life, like we don't want to be a total workaholic, and we don't want to ignore work or health when we're focused on our life purpose. So this really helps to have a more of a holistic goal setting process and assessment where you self-reflect and also set goals.
And then finally, you have a brand new workshop, which we don't even have up yet. It'll be up next week. Tell us about that one.
Okay, that one is called Dream Writing in the Spirit of Gratitude. And that one is a gem. It is absolutely a gem. It is so powerful in the awakening ascension process. And it's dream writing. So basically, you're visioning and dreaming and using your imagination and learning about consciousness and consciousness tools. And then you're applying that with setting intention, visioning, and feeling gratitude. So you learn about consciousness, and then there's writing activities. And I had mentioned that I had done one, and it took me like to a vortex where manifestation got really accelerated. So this really does accelerate manifestation, and it also helps you to release all old programming and densities within the body and within your life and within your consciousness. So it's an accelerator of consciousness. And so you have to warn people, be careful, take time to integrate and do bits at a time as you feel called, because it is a recording and you can do, parts of it at a time, because you can pause it and go back, or however long it takes, you can do it at your own pace. But it's very, very powerful. And I can attest to that, personally.
Well, yeah, things are speeding up right now. And it seems also that people who have been unawake, we'll just say living in the 3D world, going to work, going home, fixing dinner, taking care of the kids, all of that, and they're just focused on that. And now something happens to wake them up. They see a UFO, they might see an angel, they might see a little pixie running around their yard, and it's a shock. And they're having a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, but it's actually really beautiful. I was my soul's blueprint. I was made to help with this transition and awakening. And so my first book came out, It Is a New World After All, came out in 2005. And I was talking about how all of the old institutions and ways of life are dissolving. Well, I was writing about now back then. So the dissolution was really became quite rapid in 2020. So the last 5 to 6 years, people are waking up even faster. Like more and more people are waking up faster and faster. In one of my books, I said it was like popcorn. People are waking up and their souls are coming out to shine. And it started out slow, like when you're popping popcorn, and then pop, pop, and then suddenly pop, 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 pop. And these are souls and people waking up. suddenly a lot of people are waking up, and there have been materials, programs, classes, videos, platforms, shows like yours, that are here to assist people along the way. So there's a lot of help and support available, no matter what stage you're at of the awakening. And we're here, being together as sort of, soul family, helping each other out.
Yeah, and that is true. There are a lot of resources. There are a lot of people you can go to for help, and the 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 higher consciousness people, the higher vibration people, they're out there. And I don't think, and, some people are. They ask me a question like, "Do you think so and so would be a good person to go to? How do I know if that's the right thing for me?" So what is your advice about how to choose a mentor, basically?
I think that's a very good question. And I think that each person during this awakening is learning to go into their own heart and discern what is best for them. And that's actually a really important thing about empowerment and sovereignty. Each person needs to decide for themselves what is right for them. And our awakening has to do with being able to discern truth. And so we need to be able to recognize and discern motives and deceit. And so everybody has a heart center where you can bring information into, and then listen to your heart and be guided by your heart intelligence. And that's really important to decide for yourself. That's part of sovereignty. You decide what's right for you. What's right for me, what might not be right for somebody else. And what's right for somebody else might not be right for me. So it's who you resonate with, what feels valuable, what feels truthful, what is authentic. And is it partial truth or is it whole truth? You can weigh that inside your heart intelligence, which also helps you to develop your heart intelligence and your sovereignty and your soul intelligence strength and perceptions.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Because the planet right now is going through a change too. The planet is moving into 5D, and and also, I am having a lot of people tell me that they are communicating with trees and plants and things they never thought of before, or they'd be walking through their house and all of a sudden their plants are screaming at them that they need water. Are you noticing that as well?
Yes, 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 yes. I get it through my heart, like it's time to water, because I'll be like, thinking of all these different things, and I get that. And then also when I'm grounding, we have some lower branches at some of the trees at some of the parks I go to, and I'll sit on the branch and I'll put my hands on the branch, and I'll talk to the tree heart to heart, because every being, tree, whatever, has a heart. And so heart is like the portal of communication. It's like feeling, it's love, it's connection, and it feels really good. And I think that people are going to get more and more into conscious energy exchange as well as communication.
It's fascinating to me. I love having the experiences myself, but I really like it when I hear other people are having those experiences, and it's something new and different, and they're all excited about it. And it's almost like, well, there's more coming. you know, there's a lot more coming. What can people expect if they relax into it, get grounded, balance their chakras, do meditation? What's in store for them?
What's in store are miracles, dreams come true, unity, um, peaceful, heavenly bubbles of people getting together who are like minded on the same frequency. Um, groups spontaneously gathering that resonate with one another, and then a spreading of all of this love, energy, and truth, so that heaven on earth, there's peace and heavenly bubbles. You can create your own heavenly reality, and then share it like you're shining your light, and your light goes out into all directions and mixes with other people's light. And so it's raising the whole consciousness of humanity, of our planet. And then our network is not just physical or our planet, but it's more interdimensional and galactic. And so the network is basically based on a lot of loving cooperation, creative freedom, and a really big word is freedom. It's almost like you're busting out of some cage you never knew you were in. It's a sense of freedom and empowerment and sovereignty. Victim consciousness is going by the wayside very quickly. That's a big, part of it.
Mm-hmm. Are you seeing some people having to dissolve some relationships, for instance, because of this shift?
Yeah, I think there is a separation, paradoxically, to the unity. I think there's unity and separation happening at once. It's sort of like a sorting, and it's not bad, and it's not a judgment. It's more of an evaluation, and things seeking their own level, and being where they are conducted by a conductor to be in harmony with the orchestra that they are meant to play in, if that makes sense. Like, you're
Right.
meant to play in this one certain orchestra, and your instrument is attuned to, this particular group, and you come together and you make such beautiful music, and you basically have shared intentions, and you create these morphogenic fields, and you have a unity of purpose, and there's like an elevation to that, like the wind beneath your wings sort of feeling, by being supported by interdimensional beings and people, boots on the ground people as well.
And change doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Let's say in the instance of a divorce or a split with
Right.
someone that you no longer connect with, you no longer have the same vibratory rate. It's okay to move on, isn't it?
It's more than okay. It's better for everybody. It's better
Hmm.
for everybody, because if you can imagine, if you're with anybody where there's conflict, and then each person moves to where they're supposed to be, they can have peace at the next station for their soul. It's like we're
Yeah.
taking, the train to the next station for our soul, and there's no judgment there. It brings everybody peace, brings everybody where they're supposed to go. I know that, sometimes I create a distance seamlessly with no conflict or drama when people don't resonate anymore. And so this shift is happening, and I think it's really good for everybody. And it's not like there's any less love. Not a drop of love will be lost. And you you can love people from a distance and send blessings, and have a very strong love, really.
Mhm.
You have history with certain people, but in order to move to the next level, it's really good for everybody. Transitions may seem difficult, and changes may seem difficult, but it's temporary. You always just say, this too shall pass. And just say you're going to move into your dream home, and you have to do all the work of moving, and you've got to, it may be in a different location, you have to find a different store and a different network or whatever. So the transition takes a lot of extra energy and work, and then you have that adjustment of getting used to it. But yet the final end result of moving into your dream home or a dream job or a dream anything, dreams come true. It's
Mhm.
all for good purpose, and it's all good for everybody, actually.
Are there certain places on the planet that have a higher vibration where people can go to regenerate and recharge?
Yes, and I would set the intention, because intention's so powerful, to and ask for help, because we always have, our guides and angels and so forth to ask for help. Put me in the right place for me at this time. Everything's in divine order, divine timing, and I claim that for my life. And so you can ask for help, you can ask for guidance. And so there are higher vibrational places and bubbles. And again, everything is like unique for you. And so you can go to your best place, what's meant for you next, present moment, and go to that place. And it may be a high vibrational place that's well known, like a spiritual conclave or whatever, or it may be a place where you're going to stop by and meet certain people or bring your own light. You might have a purpose. And so you go with the flow, and there might not be just one place. There might be, this is your place for this time, and this is your place for this next cycle or phase. And we're guided. We're all guided.
How can people access their higher self to find out where they should be going?
Just get still and pretend you're like one of those snow globes that are all shaken up, and you just get still and let everything settle, and clarity comes in naturally and automatically. So get still. Sometimes it's being in nature is the easiest place to get connect with your true essence and your guidance. And sometimes it's just a quiet space or a quiet time. But intention, quiet, stillness, and tuning into your heart. And it really can be quite simple. You can watch your breath, light a candle, just set the intention to be calm and to listen and to be guided. There's help all around.
Indeed. And now we haven't discussed astral travel, but are you doing astral travel intentionally?
Um, I don't feel confined by a body. Let me put it that way. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's astral, yes, but also spiritual, and being like a spark of light or an orb. You could be like, you could be an orb and travel. In fact, um, two things. One, I heard that when you go and remote view someplace, you might show up as an orb to somebody
Yeah.
there. And then the other thing is, one time I was having a dream, and I was in line with a friend, and a friend of mine was right behind me, and she was telling me something, and it was something I already knew, but I didn't want to interrupt her or tell her, that I already knew it, because that sounds so, you know, egotistical, really. So what I did was, in the dream, I folded my body over and I emerged as a orb,
Oh,
as
wow.
as a sphere of light. And it was a
Yeah.
communication that was more telepathic than verbal. It went right to the energy packet thing rather than a linear. So instead of a linear communication, it was more
Mhm.
of an energy packet transference of information.
Is there a method you use to contact or to connect with the Akashic record for yourself that anybody can learn how to do?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because um, I've been questioning why these things have been natural to me, and how I would do things without putting words to it. I've been doing readings for years, and I didn't like consciously connect to the Akashic records, but I was at a place doing readings, and I overheard somebody say, "How does she do that?" And another person said, "Well, she's accessing the Akashic records." And
Mm.
I wasn't like consciously accessing the Akashic records. I just did what I called tune in, you know. My intention is to help someone. I get out of the way, so to speak, as an individual, egoic, individual person, and my intention is to be like a channel or an instrument to be of service. And so that apparently tuned me into Akashic Records, and the information that came through was spot on, and even surprised myself, especially when I like to give readings to people I don't know at all, because I don't want to be influenced in any way.
Yeah,
And
me too.
so, but a very dear friend of mine, asked me for a reading, and I gave her one, and things came through that I really had no idea. I personally did not know, but you know, I don't censor what comes through, and what came through is what I reported, and it was something that I didn't know, and she confirmed it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. People have different ways of doing things,
Yes.
and yeah, I mean, my method is totally different. I use my two fingers, point them up,
Uh-huh.
intend to contact the Akashic record, and bring that information back, and somehow it comes back in, and I see it and hear it.
Yeah.
So it's
Intention is very, very powerful. It really
Mhm.
is. I mean, that's like my primary consciousness tool, I would I would say, as well as listening. I'm very clairaudient, and I've always had this connection. And it's like when little kids have these gifts and they don't know what they are, and there's no words for them, and it's just natural. And then when you start discovering that this is a thing, and that there's vocabulary that goes with it, it's been kind of like that with me. Like a lot of things have been natural, and I didn't have the vocabulary to describe it or say how this connection happens. It's just natural.
Right, right, exactly. Well, in the few minutes that we have left, do you have anything that you would like to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I think a big theme that's up right now is self-love and self-care. And I think because we're going through
Mhm.
such intense transition and radical, rapid changes, that it's super important to take time for yourself and to love yourself actively. Love yourself, forgive yourself, and be like the divine feminine, nurturing person for yourself and for your feelings and for your life. Like give yourself a break, and actively do things that bring you joy and comfort and so forth. So that would be the number one thing that I would recommend at this time. Lots of self-love, self-care.
That's that's great advice. And where can people go to find more information about you?
It is primarily my website at smileforlove.com. That's number 4. And then I have a michellemarieangel.com, and that's primarily for readings. And then I have Visionary Solutions for Smile.org. But if you go to the main website, that'll take you everywhere and link to my channels and everything. And then just Michelle, my name, at smileforlove.com is my email.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Michelle. And
Thank you for
we will
having
be
me.
in touch, and we'll get your new latest workshop up at the Oz Institute shortly, and we'll send a notice out about that. So
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. All right, folks, that is another show for the week, and thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.